Hey guys, so I went grocery shopping for my bearded dragons today. I wanted to show you all what I buy them, how I prep their food, and then if they enjoy it, I'll show you a video of them eating their little gourmet salads. Sometimes they can be picky eaters, so my salads that get love and tears poured into them sometimes go unappreciated, but you know what? That's what happens when you have reptiles. So let's get started. I'm going to show you guys what I bought first, and then I'm going to show you guys how I put it all together. All right, so I've got their bowls cleaned and ready to go. I took Caitlin's water dish out because her water was nasty. So the first thing I get is these French cut carrots. Since they're already cut into little sticks or whatever, it's easier for me to chop them up and just, throw them in there. Ned, my oldest bearded dragon, he thinks these are bugs when he looks at them. So he goes straight for them, and that's how I get him to eat his veggies. So these work perfectly for me. Then I get them raspberries. These I only give them every once in a while. I don't give them to them as like a regular staple. This just adds a little bit of flavor, and Ned absolutely loves his raspberries. Then I make sure I get these broccoli florets. I saw these and I thought this would be a little bit more manageable for me since it's already like cut off like this. I could just cut them into smaller pieces. And then this is the majority of what their little gourmet salad is made out of. I try not to give them I don't even know how to say that. I try not to give them the purple leaves just because I don't know what it is and I've never seen it on their food list before. But this has baby greens, baby lettuces, and baby spinach. Those are all good for them. I used to just give Ned collard greens and turnip greens, but he didn't like those. So once I started giving him this, he's been devouring his salads. Then to also trick Ned into eating his veggies, I get these butternut squash spirals. So just like the carrots, since these are already cut into thin little slices or whatever, spirals I guess, it's easier for me to just chop them up and then mix them in here. So yeah, let's get started. I go ahead and I start separating the purple leaves from the greens. Like I mentioned earlier, I don't give these to my beardies and I end up just throwing them in the trash. Then I chop up all the greens into pieces that Caitlin is going to be able to swallow with no issues. I don't want anything getting lodged in her little throat, but also I try to leave some leaves big enough for Ned because he does enjoy getting his mouthful of veggies. Once I get done with that, I have the broccoli florets and I cut the stems off so that way I'm only left with the top. Once I do that, I break those pieces into smaller individual pieces to make sure that I get a good mix in there with the greens because I don't want the bearded dragons getting the same thing every time. I like to keep them interested in their salads just so they can be like, oh, look at what I got next, Then I go ahead and I mix it into the container with the greens. The carrots are pretty easy. Since they're already in thin slices, I don't have to put too much effort into cutting them. I just like to make sure there's a good amount of them with my mix. And now we just go ahead and throw them in there as well. And the same goes for the squash. Since it's all bundled together, I just chop as much as I deem necessary. I should also mention that because Ned requires a diet of mostly veggies, he can be a picky eater sometimes and only wants to eat bugs. So with the carrots and the squash, since they look like mealworms, it tricks Ned into devouring his salad. And I think it's pretty funny, but at the same time, it works for him. And as long as he's getting his nutrients, that's all that matters. So we throw that in there, mix it all up, and now we can start prepping our salads. After I've washed all the veggies, I just start adding all the contents of the salad to the bowls, making sure they get a good amount of the greens, the carrots, squash, just a good variety of everything. And since I am doing this for YouTube, I'll go ahead and give my babes some raspberry treats for their participation. I do like to cut these up as well into small pieces. Really, you could never be too cautious. And last but not least, the calcium powder. I do only give this to them 3 times a week. And now for the taste test. Look at him, straight for his raspberries. I told y'all he loves him some raspberries. And here we see a perfect belly and different outcome. Oh, look, there she goes. Her bugs are hiding under the salad. So that's basically it. Also, Ned, since he is an adult bearded dragon, majority of his diet consists of veggies. So he only gets bugs 3 times a week. Today was not his bug day. But he does devour his bugs when he gets them. And since Catelyn is a baby, I do make sure that everything that I give her is chopped up to the appropriate size, because I definitely don't want things getting lodged in her throat. That has happened before. Not to her. I have a friend who works at a exotic vet clinic, and she said that they had a bearded dragon come in, and there was a piece of greens or something rotting in his throat. So I do not want to be on I don't want to be a part of the percentage of the bearded dragons that happens to. So yeah, I make sure everything is cut to the appropriate size that fits in her mouth. So they do say, like, the way to know the appropriate size to the appropriate size for the food that you're feeding your bearded dragon is to look at the space between their eyes. It shouldn't be bigger than that. Obviously, sometimes, I mean, Ned can devour a huge piece of lettuce or what, I mean, not lettuce, spinach. But when I say huge, I mean like this big, and the space between his eyes is obviously not that big. So yeah, but that's it. I hope that this helped you if you have a bearded dragon, or if you're thinking about getting a bearded dragon. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for pouring your love out onto me. Thank you for your encouraging words. Thank you for your questions, because your questions are what keep my mind creative as to what I'm gonna do my next video on. So make sure you keep that coming. Don't forget to like and subscribe.